Hello and welcome to Runkle of the Bailey. My name is Ian Runkle. I'm a Canadian criminal defense and firearms lawyer. I want to have a look at a video that shows an alleged road rage incident that happened outside of Calgary. A lot of you have sent me this video. It's also been on the news. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to have some comments both from a legal perspective in terms of possibility of charges here, as well as from a practical perspective, because I've seen a lot of these kinds of videos and sometimes people get badly injured in these. There's certain patterns that emerge in terms of, what helps keep you safe. So let's have a look at this video as we go. I'll have some comments and let's dive in. So the first thing is anytime I watch a video, I always want to ask, where does this video start and where does this video end? Does it capture the whole interaction, including the lead up, or does it start in the middle? Cell phone videos like this almost always start in the middle because people typically don't realize that they should be recording until things have already gotten pretty heated. Police videos tend to be a little bit better. Police might, for instance, turn on their video camera before they pull someone over, and they might let the video camera run a bit to show a little bit about why they're looking to pull someone over. Here's this driver who's going all over the road. Let's follow him for an extra 45 seconds just so you can see him weaving all over the road and then pull him over. That can make things very difficult for a defense lawyer when you're trying to say, oh, well, he didn't have much reason to go after this guy. Nah, if he's crossing 3 lanes of traffic back and forth, that suggests there's a reason. Surveillance video tends to be the best for this because it starts before anyone knows anything is going on. It typically captures the whole thing, although it might not have the best vantage point. So those are sort of some considerations. The other thing that happens with people taking cell phone video is sometimes, and I can't say that's the case here, I don't know, but sometimes people will crop their video to cut out parts of it that will make them look bad. So that is always something that you want to consider, especially if you're a defense lawyer and you're trying to think of what are the holes in a case. Well, there's potential holes in a case for what happens at the start. All right, let's keep going here. All right, so just another thing that occurs here is the first mistake this driver makes is that he stops his vehicle. You see the guy's following him and he clearly wants him to pull over, and he does. And the problem is that pulling over tends to increase the likelihood you're going to get injured in some fashion. When you're in motion, people are less likely to use their vehicle as a weapon against you, and they don't have any other options. The thing is that most people are thinking, if they ram your vehicle, A, that might be more serious than what they're really willing to do. B, it puts their own property at risk. If you ram somebody with your truck, well, A, it's creating a whole lot of evidence, and B, now your truck is messed up. You got to at least get that fixed. You might need that truck for work. It might be worth quite a bit of money. So people tend to be reluctant to do that. And if somebody is going to use their vehicle as a weapon against you, you want to be inside your car. Because inside your car, you are surrounded by literally millions of dollars of engineering designed to keep you safe, especially to keep you safe from other vehicle impacts. Outside of your vehicle, you are subject to being soft and squishy and potentially going under a tire. So your car is a defensive measure. You can also, while you're in motion, be improving your situation because you can choose where you're going. The other guy can either decide if they want to follow you or stop, but you get some choices. So you can head to a police station. You can head to a place where there's going to be other people who might be witnesses or able to protect you or help you out in other fashions. You can possibly go to somewhere where he can't follow you. So these are all things to consider. Not only should you be driving, you should be driving with a purpose. Think of where you want to get to. And stopping increases your chances of getting hurt quite a bit. Now, there really isn't much reason to stop in a situation like this other than to have a confrontation, right? The other guy's upset. You don't need to exchange insurance information. So what else are you going to gain from stopping other than having some sort of fight? And that might be a physical fight or just yelling. You don't know at this point, but you're at risk, right? So I'm not clear if the driver of this vehicle simply changed their mind about, maybe I don't want to have this interaction, or if they were trying to sort of exercise a tactic. And the tactic I've sometimes seen is basically you stop your vehicle, you wait for the other guy to get out, and then you drive away so that he's still on foot while you're making some distance. And that way you can maybe get some time to get away. It's not usually very successful. However, where it's most successful is where you see the driver kind of troll the other guy. And that is, he starts walking up and you start creeping forward. And he maybe starts hurrying and you creep forward a little faster. He starts jogging and you sort of keep pace with that. And eventually he realizes, I'm not going to win this. I got to run back to my car. But hopefully by that point, he's already getting tired and he's put some distance between him and his car. And that buys you a whole lot more time to make some distance. It's not usually a terribly successful strategy, and you got to figure, where are you going to go? Right now, this is on a highway where there's not a whole lot of escape options. You think, if I have 45 seconds of extra time, and that might be generous, is there somewhere where I can lose this guy? Let's go back a little bit just so we can see exactly how much time this buys the driver here. I counted seconds, so that is not a whole lot. Not a great tactic, right? All this will have accomplished is making the other guy more angry, which is not really a win here. So let's rewind a little bit just so I can comment on something that just happened. Did you hear that bang? Previously, it was visible that the other driver had his window down, so I'm wondering if he didn't throw something at the vehicle. I don't know for certain. The cell phone video doesn't capture it, but it seems like it's a possibility here. Now, a couple of things. This is actually a really dangerous interaction. You don't know what this guy's going to do when he gets out of the car. He might be getting out to swing fists at you, but he might be coming out with a tire iron. He might be coming out with, a lot of people have a pocket knife in their car that's designed for getting out of a car, sort of an emergency escape knife, usually with a blade and a window punch. If somebody's got that, they can punch your window in no time flat and start putting holes in you. That's a really bad scenario. This guy might also be somebody who's, who knows? Maybe he deals meth on the side. Maybe he's coming out with a handgun and he's just going to walk up to your window and put a hole in you through it. He can't do any of those things while you're in motion, or at least not easily. And once you stop, it makes it a lot more options open up to this guy who's wanting to attack your vehicle. So let's have a look at what actually happens here, but think of the possibilities. Another thing to consider here is, if you're in danger, you've got to be thinking about escape routes. And here we can see there's big barriers on either side of the highway. So he doesn't have a whole lot of options in terms of, he can't turn around, he can't turn off. There's not a whole lot of directions. He's got backwards, which is itself dangerous, right? Backing up into potential oncoming traffic carries risks, but it might carry less risks than the confrontation itself. He's also got forwards. And forwards would involve going through the other guy's door here. That guy's door is going to mess your car up. You're going to have all sorts of damage. But the door is going to lose. That still remains a viable escape route. And if I was in this situation and I see the other guy get out of the vehicle and he's got a gun, I'd probably be going, okay, goodbye, door. We keep going. All right, let's keep going here. All right, so the driver does some things right here. He doesn't open the door. He doesn't open the window. He keeps his door locked. Think about this one. This guy got out of the car quite quickly. You might get out of the car substantially more slowly. You might have your seatbelt on, for instance. And having your seatbelt on is a good idea because it protects you while you're in the vehicle. But think about trying to defend yourself against somebody who's outside the vehicle. This guy has his arms fairly unrestrained. He can take a good long swing at you if he wants. You, on the other hand, you're bound up by the fact that you're in a vehicle. Let's say you're left-handed. You're turning and you're going to get screwed up by the door, or by your seat by the door. If you're right-handed, well, you're sitting facing this way and you're trying to turn. Your body is in the way. The wheel is in the way. Everything about your car's geometry prevents you from fighting back effectively, which means that the guy outside gets to take a lot of free swings at you. This is not a confrontation you want to have. You do not want to be in this situation. If he's got a weapon, you're in a lot of trouble, even if you happen to have a weapon. So long, if you're talking about you've got a knife, you're going to have a hard time using that knife effectively back, through that window. So all of these things disfavor you. You want to stay in the vehicle as much as possible. But you can't rely on your vehicle in this situation. It's designed to stop vehicle impacts. It's not designed to stop this guy. And thankfully, this guy is built kind of like I am. I don't get a lot of gym time here. I got small arms. And he takes several swings at the window and ultimately fails to break it. If he'd actually broken that window, do you think he would have been, taking swings further? Probably. So let's keep going here a little bit.
Get out of the fucking car! Fight me like a man! You want to brake check me? I'll fucking knock your fucking terrorist ass out!
So here we have an indication as to what might have happened. I don't know if this driver brake checked the other guy or not. If he did, that's a potential for charges in and of itself. A charge of dangerous driving. I don't know if there's a charge of dangerous driving against the other guy. I don't know why he got brake checked. I don't know, or if he got brake checked. I don't know what the driving pattern was like. The driving pattern that we see on the video, I don't know if it rises to that standard. He doesn't seem to swerve. He doesn't, swing his vehicle out. It's debatable on that one. But we also seem to see some uttering threats here. The other thing is, at this point, this guy has to have seen the camera. Think about this. You're walking up and you're thinking, I'm really angry. I want to throw hands. And you see a guy pointing a camera at you. Well, that tells you that guy is not going to have he's not interested in a consensual fight, which means that if you're going up there, you're almost certainly looking at getting some sort of criminal charge if you take a swing at them. He might be interested in a confrontation, but a confrontation of an entirely different sort. He gets you on video and, either he can use that as evidence against you or he can humiliate you publicly. He can't do any of those things without your cooperation, but you should view a cell phone as a form of weapon in this kind of interaction, not in the traditional sense. It's not something that somebody's going to hurt you physically with. But you have to realize that somebody who's got a cell phone at you has a form of power, and it should cause you to rethink your activities because you're in some potential risk.
Okay. Pussy, fucking pussy, you're a bitch. You're a bitch. I got a picture of Muhammad in my car. Allah, you want me to give it to you? Fucking faggot.
None of the things he's saying there are going to help him. All of those things are things that are going to hurt him quite badly in terms of court process. These are the sorts of things that might, for instance, get a Crown prosecutor to say, you know what? We're not going to offer, deals that we might have offered. Those are off the table. We might be seeking additional sentencing that otherwise we might not have sought. So you got to watch what you're saying. I don't know this guy at all. I don't know what his, I don't know if this is his ordinary beliefs or something that he's just saying because he thinks he's going to get the driver upset enough to leave his vehicle. And the driver here is playing it much more sensibly. He's just saying, okay, he's not getting out of his vehicle. That's smart. So, but none of these things are helpful to him. Anything you say to a cell phone camera, you should be thinking that you're saying to a cop, because that's who's probably going to get that video. So the usual rule of shut up applies in the face of a camera. And this is a shovel that only digs you into trouble. It doesn't dig you out of trouble. All right, so I've already said I'm not sure on the driving aspect, but what we've seen here is an apparent uttering threats. He says he's going to cause him violence. We've also seen a mischief. The breaking off of the windshield wiper is a mischief. That's sort of a damage to property. If he threw something at the vehicle, that could also be another mischief.
I'm following you, buddy.
The video ends here, so we don't actually see if there's any following that happens. But if it does, depending on how it does, that might make out a charge of criminal harassment or intimidation. So again, not a great idea. We don't see how this altercation starts. Usually there's some sort of give and take on both sides. And I say usually, and that doesn't mean always. I don't know about this specific case because we don't have enough video. When I say both sides, that usually doesn't mean that both sides are equal or equivalent. But there's often ways that people can sort of opt out or get out of these kinds of interactions simply by not rising to that escalation of conflict. But that's only sometimes. You don't always have those options. I don't know if that's the case here. The other thing I want to comment on here is, I know I said, hey, you got to watch out because you don't want to make statements in front of somebody holding up a cell phone camera. Well, you can do a step worse. And this guy does. Headline, I hate everyone equally. Calgarian charged after road rage against refugee says it wasn't racially motivated. Victim says he moved to Canada to escape racism. Suspect says he would have snapped on anyone. So he gave an interview to the media. Oh my God, is that a bad idea? Would have snapped on anyone. This is language that is gold-plated for the Crown to use against him. This guy is a danger to the public. He needs to be in jail. He says he would have snapped on anyone. He's a risk to just anybody he happens to come across. So, yeah, this is a really bad idea. Talking to the media is, if anything, worse than talking to the police, because the media are going to want you to make juicy quotes, and the police can still use those. The Crown can still use these quotes. It's really terrible. Not only does he say, oh, I would have snapped on anyone, but he also goes and provides some statements in terms of, why this happened. He says, so when I caught up to him, I gave him 2 little quick honks, beep, beep, and he gives me the finger and hits the brakes. I just miss him. I'm like feet away from him in my big truck. He was in a little tiny car. Well, great. Now you've just admitted that it was you. That's a big admission. Otherwise the Crown might not have been able to prove that you're the guy who was driving. Maybe, because there's good video, but maybe not. You provided a motive. That helps explain everything. That helps the Crown get to a conviction. This is basically a confession. Okay, somewhere a defense lawyer is cracking open a bottle because of this media interview. Also, he tries to provide various defenses. He's clearly worried that he's going to be seen by the public as racist. And some of his defenses are like meme-level defenses. They're not going to help him out. He says, my girlfriend's Filipino. This is literally a meme. Don't do this. He must be thinking, you know what? I really want this story to go away. I don't want to look terrible in the public. I got to defend myself. And the problem is that this is exactly the wrong approach to defending yourself. If you want a story to go away, you do that by not throwing gasoline on it. Providing a statement just helps the story grow. This was a terrible move. I'm sure it was made without talking to counsel, and it's not going to help him out. So if you're ever thinking, I've been involved in some sort of incident, do I give an interview to the media? Talk to your lawyer, and your lawyer is almost certainly going to say, no, you don't. If you want something to be said to the media, you probably want it to be said through an intermediary, like your lawyer, because those statements are less likely to be able to be used against you. So all sorts of mistakes here. bad decisions all around. Anyway, thank you for watching. Lots of people wanted me to comment on this one, and it's kind of a fun video in a weird way. I want to also thank my Patreon supporters. Please, if you want to contribute, there's a link in the description below. Please like this video. Please share this video with your friends. Subscribe to see more content. All of these are ways you can help support the channel. At the $50 level, Sir Daniel Wicks of Alberta, Jason Elliott, DMO, Canada's National Firearms Association, North Central Process Service, Kyle Martin, Jean-Guy Toussaint, Ivo Nedev, the CCFR, BCAMF.org, Andrew Schaefer, and the Canadian Shooting Sports Association. At the $30 level, Sights and Arms Limited and Marc-Olivier Damour. And at the $20 level, Mark Whittington, Matt Ward, Dale Nesbitt, Cameron Johnson, Andrew Elsich, and Adam Meester. I also want to thank everyone at the $10 level who will be in the crawl immediately following. Thank you once again for watching, and I hope this has armed you with knowledge.